remind our civil representatives of their duties according to those same passages of Scripture. We have gathered here in order to do this. In Romans 13, Paul says twice that the existing authorities are God's deacons. The word is diakonos, God's servants. Not only is their status as servants affirmed, but the terms and boundaries of their assigned service is also described. They are established and installed by God in order to reward the righteous and punish the wrongdoer, verses 3 and 4, not the other way around. The Apostle Peter gives us exactly the same job description for them in 1 Peter 2:14. They are installed by God for the, quote, punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. But where are we today? Idahoans are subject to fines and possible imprisonment for seeking to feed their families. We are subject to fines and possible imprisonment for trying to keep our small businesses out of bankruptcy. We are subject to fines and possible imprisonment for gathering together in order to worship God. This is not rewarding the righteous and punishing the wrongdoer. It's the other way around. If God told his appointed servants all to head north, this is them heading south. This is not what Scripture sets down for them to do. And while we may be grateful that phasing out of this gross overreach is starting to happen, that is not sufficient for us. Tyranny is not something that can be tapered off. So what is the comeback to this? What's the reply to this? A reply to this critique of ours will not be long in coming. We will be told that the Idaho Code gives the governor sweeping powers when a state of quote-unquote extreme emergency is declared. Idaho Code 466011. But actually, it comes at this in a noticeably different way. It does not simply say that the governor has sweeping powers when a state of emergency is declared. It says he has this power in the event of a state of extreme emergency, which must then be duly proclaimed. You don't create an emergency by declaration. You don't create an emergency simply by saying there is one. You must respond to an actual emergency with a declaration. The difference there is not a trifle. And then the code, presupposing a literate populace, goes on to define what such an extreme emergency would have to look like. It defines for us what an extreme emergency actually is. I hope you're wondering what that definition is, because I'm about to read it to you. Quote, state of extreme emergency means A, the duly proclaimed existence of conditions of extreme peril to the safety of persons and property within the state or any part thereof caused by an enemy attack or threatened attack, or B, the duly proclaimed existence of conditions of extreme peril to the safety of persons and property within the state or any part thereof caused by such conditions as air pollution, fire, flood, storm, epidemic, riot or earthquake, insurrection, breach of the peace, which conditions by reason of their magnitude are or likely to be beyond the control of the services, personnel, equipment, and facilities of any county, any city, or any city and county. That's Idaho Code 466011. Now, look around you. Is there anything like that going on anywhere in the great state of Idaho?
No.
I think we all have a pretty good notion of what an extreme emergency would look like. It would look like the Black Death of the Middle Ages. It would look like the Spanish flu of the early 20th century. It would look like a Klingon invasion. It would look like hailstones the size of cantaloupes. It would not look like a peaceful springtime rally on the Capitol steps in Boise with birds chirping in the background. Extreme peril does not look like this. Look around. Golly. Now, I know that the word epidemic was used in that definition that I just read you, which for some people means that all careful thinking can cease. But an epidemic is not part of the definition, is part of the definition, but it's not the definition. An epidemic is not a state of extreme emergency. You can have an epidemic and not have an extreme emergency. It has to be an epidemic that presents quote unquote extreme peril And it has to do this, quote, by reason of magnitude that is likely to be beyond the control of the services, personnel, equipment, and facilities of any county, any city, or any city and county.